And that's what competition is. It's great.
You've been there, done that.
It's great for the sport. I've been there, done it. Doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah.
That's like, hey, whatever. I mean, I work on them trucks anyway, so
Yeah.
I just do what I do on it behind the scenes, and work the keyboard, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Talk about crawfish. What's done to crawfish now?
crawfish is pretty much everything we done redone it.
Yeah.
You saw the motor that it had before. It crapped out.
What it had before?
It was a dart block also.
Okay.
It was a 427. It was a dart block. And of course, it wasn't nothing crazy, that motor. It was something, less horsepower rated deal. It wasn't something that you can push it seriously.
Yeah.
And I knew, and I had told him, I said, man, it's eventually gonna give out.
Yeah.
Once we start going fast. And sure enough, we made it. We went fast with it. We went real fast with it. And then, of course, at the shootout that one day, of course, it just crapped out. So it bent and broke a couple of rods and stuff. So it's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool. The new motor that we got in it now, that's a good race motor. It's completely different than what it had before. Like this thing can make, if you wanted to, 3,000 horsepower.
Damn.
So it's got a really good motor now. I did rewire the whole truck just to have, everything, of the way I do things. I've added and removed a bunch of stuff, removed everything that I don't need it, and added everything that I do need, which is just the way I do things. But it's just about done. I mean, this week I should have the turbos in. I got to do a couple of things, and then we'll be able to fire it up.
And what heads? I know you talked about the heads. You said they had LS1 heads. Were you talking about like LS1 factory heads or LS1
No,
style
no,
heads?
it was an LS1 style head.
Right.
I was
The cathedral port, right?
Yeah, cathedral. So I was under the impression that it had an LS7 head. So that's why whenever I told Beto, I'm like, I thought you had LS7 heads on, but
The rectangle port.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, but like I said, I mean, nothing against anybody. It's
Right, right.
just a matter of fact that me as a tuner, I thought, and that it had LS7 heads. So the camshaft that motor had was one for an LS7 head as well.
Oh.
And so, like I said, I was under the impression that that's what they had in it. And whenever the motor, crapped out, and we took it apart, and that's when I'm like, well, I thought you had LS7 heads.
Yeah.
Because, of course, you never take the intake off or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Now, there were still good heads. It just wasn't the right head that.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything of the backstory about it or anything like that, but, that's not for me to,
Yeah. Right. Right.
whatever it was. And, not saying that it didn't run. It still ran great. It's just not the right combination of parts that I thought that it had. And it kind of made sense after a while because there's like a couple of things that once you turn it up, there was like a little hiccup on the exhaust tone and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, why is it doing this?
Yeah.
So I checked. Well, it makes sense when you have a camshaft that you're trying to put enough boost in it on the motor that it's not meant for this style head. So it's kind of everything matches at that point. You're like, oh, okay, well, now we know why it was doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Did he think he had what they said he had?
I don't
Like
know.
okay.
I mean, I don't know. But like I said, as me as a tuner, I was always, under the impression and thought, because that's what everybody said,
Yeah.
that it was an LS7 head. So, no big deal.
What heads does it have on it now, or the new ones coming in?
Right now, it's got a dart head.
Dart head.
Yeah, it's not even an LS7 head or anything. It's basically like a Ford head now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The intake and exhaust valves are reversed, so it's not like your traditional LS head. It's the valves are swapped. The exhaust manifolds are moved 2 inches forward, just because everything's completely different.
Yeah.
So it's more like a small block Ford head.
Wow.
Yeah, It's a solid head. It's a solid block. So this thing will, we can be able to make 60 pounds of boost, 65 pounds of boost.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Yeah. The other motor broke it was about 38 pounds. It broke. Didn't have aluminum rods. This one has aluminum rods, so it's just everything's better on it.
Yeah.
It's got a dry sump system as well. So the oil pan's got 3 scavenges, and just it'll be better. We can turn this thing 9,000, and it's gonna have great oil pressure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. And what, like, were you associated with Beto, or like did he come to you like, hey, my truck's doing
No,
this or that, or like, can you check it out? Or did you always tune his truck?
No. I've always tuned it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
Got you.
always tuned it.
Got you.
Yeah. So
But never worked on it? Like,
never worked on it.
I bet he wished you worked on it the first time, right?
Well, I mean, but yeah, I've always tuned it. So I mean, it's me. There's only so much I can. There's only so much you can do when you don't work on it.
Yeah.
And you just tune it. You know what I mean? You hope and think that everything is, what they say it is.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, well, I have to, make these changes on the computer and stuff like that, though. But, and then sometimes you're like, well, man, wonder why it's doing this. And it's not, I wouldn't be able to know because I'm not the one that works on it.
Right.
So once I started working on it, I changed a bunch of stuff to the way that I do things. And just everything progressed a whole lot better right off the rip because I know what I did. So then I know what I can do. So just kind of seemed to everything be smoother, But as far as like what happened, I told him, I said, man, I don't think we're going to go very far with this motor. I said, eventually it's going to give out.
Yeah.
I said, you can believe that. He's like, dale gas.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, all right, let me go click the up key.
Right.